strength. Yeah.
All right. What's going on, guys? This is Deontay King, and welcome back to the JYMs podcast. This is just you and me, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Matthew Martinez,
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Yes, sir. So we went to Trinity College together as well. This is my brother here, man. One of the guys that going through the faith you want to keep around in terms of accountability, integrity. Just checking yourself in terms of character and growing as a man of God. You want to keep people, like my boy Matt around. So I'm blessed to have friends like that. Blessed to have these people in my life, basically. So yeah, Matt, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on the show. Man, it's been a great few years to get to know you. We met through a mutual friend of ours, and then we became friends and became an accountability partner for a while. And friendship's grown ever since. So I appreciate you having me on the show, and I'm glad to be here, man.
Exactly. Yes. So, Matt, are you still doing the classroom pod?
So we're actually not doing it anymore, but I'm trying to get something going with a friend of mine. Me and a friend Zach, trying to get something going for the new year as far as theology podcast is concerned.
Okay.
But still in the praying phase of that. So we're still trying to work through some of the logistics.
So for people who are watching, I'm going to put Matt's IG. You have like TikTok?
Yeah, I got TikTok. Same thing as my IG, so everything's kind of the same.
Gotcha, cool. So I'm gonna get Matt's social media information. I'm gonna put that down there. Make sure y'all go check out the podcast when they get into that coming into the new year. It's gonna be dope. It's always good to get some theology in and have somebody to kind of bounce your studies off of so you can grow in your faith and knowledge in the word. Both have to go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. I know they're gonna rock out in that. So make sure y'all go check it out.
100%.
All right, cool. So what me and Matt are going to be talking about today is conspiracy, right? So I actually took Matt's post on social media a bit out of context, but it did fuel the thought for this episode. Basically, the idea of this episode, it brought it to fruition, right? So Matt made a post where I believe he was saying that conspiracy theories are basically a piece of junk. Right? When he was saying, in fact, he was talking about a specific conspiracy theory, right? So see, kids, this is why when you're looking at stuff, you can't just go off the forefront. You can't judge a book by its cover. You need to read the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? First example right here. I'm raising my hand.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
Exactly. So, yes. So this is going to be a breakdown of how we can meet in the middle in terms of conspiracy theories that are reaching and theories that are then proven as facts and testing things by the Spirit. Okay, so the main concept we want y'all to get out of this is, well, for one, brothers and or sisters in Christ can disagree on something or can have a discussion about something without actually attacking each other. First off, right? I addressed Matt in a very appropriate way. We talked about it and we was like, hey, it's a perfect idea. We came together to do this. Right. And then second, we want y'all to realize that there is a in-between space where this stuff meets. The point we want y'all to get from this podcast is to test everything by the Spirit. If somebody's reaching, test it by the Spirit and see if they're reaching. If somebody is not and it is facts, do your research, but test it by the Spirit no matter what. And the Spirit is going to let you know what is and what is not. That's pretty much the gist of it. Right. So, Matt, you want to go ahead and start with your side first?
So it was funny because I had the craziest thing happen. So I was literally that day, or maybe like the day before, I was talking to my students because I'm a Bible teacher at a Christian high school. So I was talking to my students about conspiracy theories and how I was like, dude, a lot of them need to give it a rest, and like a lot of them just get on my last nerve. And then like a few days later, you texted me. So I was like, dude, this is crazy. But like what I said on my Instagram post is that I had shared a video of a Christian meme page that had their own podcast, and they were talking about a clip on like a Disney show or whatever it was called, and they were like how the Disney Channel show. How they said something or did something on the show, and then somebody had commented on that saying, "Oh, you need to cancel your Disney Plus subscription," blah blah blah. And then the podcast commented, they were like, "Can we just give it a rest? Like, can we just have something like just have it be funny and not be conspiracy theory?" And I was like, I agree 100% because there's a lot of things like I can name off examples for days where I see people like. Thinking one little thing out of context and literally saying it's a conspiracy and literally going on for hours and hours and hours, literally to the point where they talk your ear off about something. And then by the time they're finished, you have no idea what the conversation was about because they were like, oh, this conspiracy leads to this conspiracy. And then I'm just like, dude, please give it a rest. Like, I don't even want to hear. That's what I was leaning towards. But like when I read it back after we had talked, I was like, I can see how that would come across. Because when you guys said, well, we disagree, I was like, I don't think we do. I think we agree. It's just we were looking at it from two different sides. Because, man, listen, I'm going to do it like this. So I'm not going to name the person out of respect for them, and I respect and love for them. But somebody that I know personally posted a video on Facebook, and they said, this is why we should not have mirrors. Right? And the video was talking about how mirrors are evil and how there are genies inside of these mirrors and how, some genies are good, some genies are bad, and this, that, and the third. And then by the time the video was over, he was talking about Aladdin. Right? So I'm like, listen, there are some videos that are so far left they can't be right. So, and that was one of them. Like, I looked at it like, you don't even need discernment to know that was just a stretch. Okay?
Yeah,
like, but on the other side, when we had this conversation on Instagram, like 10 minutes after that, I saw a video that was talking about a Christian Ouija board. And I sat there, I was like, that's not right. That doesn't sit well with my soul. Like, that can't be right in any aspect of the word. Like, and literally the tagline said, doesn't open portals to bad demons, only talks to the good demons. I'm like, yeah, no, there's something wrong with that. Like, there can't be good demons and bad demons. Like, it's a demon or it's not. And why are we as Christians thinking having a Christian Ouija board is a good thing in and of itself? So I agree that there are things in this life that we need to have discernment over. But there are some things in this life that we look at and we're like, dude, just give it a rest.
No, please. For sure, definitely. Just going into what you're talking about, in terms of like canceling a Disney Plus subscription, right? My thing, more so along the side of reaching. So on that side, right? Remember, guys, the point of this topic is to meet in the middle. You have reaching, you have what is it? Not reaching, but basically where you kind of write off everything, and it's like nothing's demonic or whatever you want to call it, right? Yeah. There's those two ends of the spectrum. You got to meet in the middle where there is truth in the fact that somebody is actually telling the truth in terms of a conspiracy, and or there are times where something is actually not evil and people just have these superstitions about it, right? So when it comes to Disney subscriptions, not Disney specifically, right? Disney got a lot of it's a lot of feedback on Disney. Okay, it's a ton. Disney got a lot of receipts.
Bad, yes.
So, but the thing is, right? I don't like when people are telling someone to cancel this or not to do this and don't provide the solution, right? So if they're like, don't listen to this music, don't watch this movie, don't watch this TV show, present people with a solution. Either bring out some better TV shows, some more, TV shows that are in the faith, but not corny in the faith. All right.
Well, yes.
Some good TV shows or, stories, man, some good stuff. Don't give people no corny stuff. and think they're gonna choose that over watching a great quality Disney TV show, bro.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
100%.
so in terms of that, give a solution. If you are going to criticize, if you are going to say, hey, don't do this, make sure you have a instead do this.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So when it
100%.
comes to doing that, give them a solution. Because the one thing I hate the most is when I'm seeing something, I'm like, yeah, that's me. You know, I need to stop watching this, or
Yeah.
you know, I wish there was something else I had to, you know, so I didn't have to listen to such and such.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Don't do that. So what do I do? You know,
Exactly.
what can I listen to? And they never give that. It's just like, stop doing this. Stop doing
Yeah.
that. Stop.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It's funny because I actually do remember what the Disney show was. So what the video was talking about. There was have you since we're in the Christmas spirit, have you ever seen the movies of Santa Claus with Tim Allen?
Yes.
The movies. Okay, so there's a Disney Plus show called The Santa Clauses, and it's with Tim Allen, and it's like a continuation of the movies, and the executive producer on the show is Tim Allen. And if anybody has done 5 minutes of research on Tim Allen, they would come to find out that Tim Allen is a devout Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he's open about it. He's not shy at all. And what the scene was that people got up in arms about was a scene where the elves were throwing him a Santa retirement party, and they showed on the screen, "We love you," but they were supposed to say Santa at the bottom, but they spelled Satan, right?
Oh,
And,
yeah, I saw that.
yeah, so I sat there and I was like, I know people are gonna go open arms about this. Like, is there something to it? Maybe because it's Disney and we have no Disney put out some crazy Lucifer show for kids not too long ago. So I don't put anything past Disney. But if the executive producer on the show is a devout Christian and he has the final say of what goes in and what doesn't, I would come to think that he was just doing it to be funny, because Tim Allen at the end of the day is also a comedian. So he's a Christian and he's a comedian. So he's trying to find clever ways to make a joke, and Santa rearranged the letters and it spells Satan. And
Right.
in the show that episode, the elves were not liking Santa. Like, they were starting to think Santa was losing his edge, blah blah blah, and they were so it kind of made sense. So, but when people said in the video, the dude kept saying, "Just don't watch it. You got to cancel your subscription." I was like, okay, but replace it with what? Netflix? Netflix ain't much better. It's
Not better at all. Yeah.
So I'm like, what do you want me to do?
But yeah, so in that sense, one, and this is me personally, I don't take anybody at just their word for what they believe or what they say they are. There's tons of people out there who will say, I am a Christian.
Yeah.
I am this,
Absolutely.
I am that, right? I need to see some work behind it. But what we also have to take into account is that we don't know Tim Allen. Okay?
Yeah.
So
100%.
we really don't have the wherewithal to say whether he is or is not a Christian.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? So yes, in that sense, you do have to go off his word somewhat. He said that he's a Christian. So you start from there and you work through it, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, that whole thing could have just been a complete screw up, right? It could have been a complete mishap. Where the letters got rearranged, that's how it came out, right?
Yep.
But then again, you got to go through production. You got to go through editing, all of those things, right? So now you got to remember, and as someone who does some video production, who has done some of that stuff, I haven't done a lot, but I've done it before. When it comes to that, somebody saw it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere saw that and was like, okay, but we know Disney's going to give the green light on that.
Yeah, for sure.
We know Disney's going to give the green light on that. Okay, even if, because let's say Tim Allen is the producer, right? Let's say he didn't even get to that scene. Let's say that they didn't even show him the scene. Nobody's gonna know except Tim Allen and whoever else was there on the production, or
I agree.
at that stuff. So at the end of the day, you got to test it by the Spirit, right?
Yep.
Tested by the Spirit. If you saw that and that turned you off, and you like, yeah, I don't want my kids watching this, so be it, right? Any believer should be turned off by that. Any,
Yeah.
right? That should be a red flag automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I saying cut Tim Allen off? I am not saying cut Tim Allen off, right? Because ultimately, we don't know if he actually even made that decision. We don't know if he pushed that. We don't know who pushed that through,
Yeah.
right? He's just caught up in the crossfires. He's caught up in it,
Yeah.
and that's a hard place to be. I was even saying at one point, oh dang, I forgot who I was talking to, but we were talking about how pastors like Mike Todd and other pastors say some suspect stuff at times, right? And
Yeah.
I was having that conversation of, I've done a few sermons. I kid you not, bro. In every sermon, I've messed up words and I twist something on accident, not on purpose,
yeah.
on accident, where it sounds suspect in the way that the sentence flowed. Did I mean that? I did not mean that, but it did come out. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when you are actually in it and you're the person who's getting twisted, it's a completely different feeling versus looking at somebody else
100%.
who has. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I speak all the time. I actually spoke not too long ago, and like every time I had actually heard this advice from a friend of mine. He was like, if you're preaching the gospel and you feel like you're not, and it was like you're not preaching heresy, you're doing something wrong. Like the gospel is so delicate, and the Bible is so a delicate thing to preach. It's like if like you can be saying something you think it's completely right, but it comes out wrong.
Yes.
And like it's like your intention was it was like, oh, I worded it right, but it came out completely wrong, and it was perceived, oh, you believe this instead of what the Bible actually says. Like, no. And like I intended it to be that way, but it can get like you can get caught in the crossfire. But like I said, with Tim Allen, I think it was more of like I choose. But then again, like like I said, go back to the whole discernment thing. Like I hope and pray, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll take my L and move forward. But like I pray that he put it in there just as a joke, because like in the scene he was like wrong lettering, like oh snap, and they moved around to say Sansa, and like he was a part of the scene, so like obviously I hope he would notice the fact that it said that, and so I hope that it was just there for comedic effect or whatever the case may be. But like if there was something deeper into it, that's kind of where I'm like, all right, that's where we said tested by the Spirit, like you were saying, like you got to test everything. Like if if it doesn't sit well, we have to kind of go dig a little deeper, and then just kind of go from there.
Right. Yes. So exactly. So then going from there, right? Here's where we start to find truth. Okay.
Yep.
You will know them by their fruits. Okay. So where we really get into if something is legit is the repetition over and over and over. Where you see these things happening with the whole conspiracy in terms of the Illuminati, which is no longer a conspiracy. I don't care what nobody. There is no conspiracy. It might not be called the Illuminati, but there's something out there. Okay. There's too much evidence. And that's where I'm going right now, is the evidence, right? Let's say Tim Allen does that again, hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
He does that again. And then he does it again. And then he does it one more time. Then at that point, it's like, okay, Tim, like, yeah, the first two was a mistake. What's going on? You're not fixing nothing.
Yeah.
You're not fixing anything. What's going on here, right? That's evidence. That is knowing them by their fruit. What they are doing and producing, at some point, that is the tree that they are. That's simply just what it is. Now, we don't know the minds and hearts of a person the way God does. So God's going to know up front. But we are able to test by their fruits, or know them by their fruits and test by the Spirit.
Yep.
So what's going to happen is following up. Does it get better? Did an interview come out where Tim Allen apologized and was like, yeah, that was 100% mishap, right? A lot of people be like, oh, he's just saying that, but you got to take him at his word until further notice.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, because we don't know.
And unfortunately, a lot of people won't do that. A lot of people won't take them at their word. They just want somebody they want somebody to blame. That's what they want. They don't want anybody. They just, no matter what happens, no matter how many times somebody would apologize about something, they just won't. They're not going to take that. And
Right.
unfortunately, that's kind of where we come to as a society. And I'm just like, dude, we got to do better. We have to.
Yeah. I blame cancel culture
I
because
do
there
too.
is no forgiveness in terms of cancel culture. Once you're
Yep.
canceled, you're canceled. Like
Yeah,
to
unfortunately.
to them, that's it. Even with back again to Mike Todd, right? With that whole the spit take he did on stage, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about
That whole
that.
thing, and people were like, "Oh, it's disgusting." And yes, when you look at the clip, it is disgusting. Mike Todd came out and apologized. People were like, "Oh, it wasn't sincere. It wasn't this. It wasn't that." Bro, listen. People's apology does not have to meet your specific needs and requirements. An
Yep.
apology is simply that. Now, whether he was genuine in it or not, that is Mike Todd's business
Yep.
between him and the good Lord. All
Hey,
right,
oh no,
but,
you're absolutely right. It's like,
but between him and God, that's on him, bro. Like at the end of the day, yes, there are conspiracies that have been proven true. There's factual evidence behind it, and more than enough to say that something is true. When you
yep.
don't have that evidence, all right, you gotta either wait till that evidence does come out, or
Yep.
get a direct revelation from God, and it better be a good one. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because then you gonna have to back yourself up in the same way. And my thing is how people view celebrities, right? When they're viewing celebrities, it's like, oh, why does a celebrity do this? Why does a celebrity do that? What happens if we had cameras on us 24/7,
Oh yeah.
nonstop?
Well,
Just
like,
cameras on us day in, day out. Your
mm,
mistakes that you probably had no ill intention, but you make mistakes. You probably say some things you wish you didn't. Um, it's almost
like,
like typing something out on Twitter and then hitting the delete button, right? You just delete everything away. What
yep.
if you can't delete it? What if what you type in that text box is final and that's
Yep.
it? There's no going back. There's no going
There is
back.
nope.
So
And that's a reality for like that has to come to a reality for a lot of people. Like
mhm,
thought is like, dude, your character shows you a lot about you.
yeah,
And if you're sitting here and you're, you know, uh, bashing Tim Allen for doing this or bashing whoever, bashing these celebrities for saying and doing whatever whatever they're doing, like, bro, like, take a look at your life. Like, there are things that you probably do in the dark that are probably on the same scale as what they're saying. Like, you just got to take a look at your own life, and just all you can do is pray for them, and you can
right,
hope that their apologies are sincere. That you pray that in their hope. So at the end of the day, if it were up to me, there are certain things that, like, I wouldn't think that is okay, but um they repented, and they apologized and made things right, and I wouldn't take it. But then again, that's not up to me; it's up to God. So if
right,
it's between Michael Todd and God, and then whatever other celebrity is going through something. So
exactly.
I think it was just people just like to complain, and people like to find somebody to complain and just dig at. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, dude, we got to give it a rest. We got
Yep.
to.
The thing is, people love to criticize until they're actually in that fire themselves. Being
Yep.
somebody who's more outspoken, I've been in the fire enough to have forgiveness on people who
Yeah.
end up in the fire, right? So,
Yep.
with outbursts of anger and that, coming from that, that's my thing. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all didn't know that or not, but that's my thing. Outbursts of anger, saying stuff that I wish I then could take back after, but it's too late.
Yeah.
I literally do that all the time, or at least did do that all the time, right? I've
Yep.
been there. I've literally been through it and been in a situation where I'm like, oh shoot, they didn't even mean this. I already spazzed on them. How do I correct this? I'm
Yeah.
telling y'all, bro, there is no going back. It's completely different when you are in that fire yourself. It's a completely different scenario. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and look into now situations where there is that evidence, right? Because like I said, we did one end in terms of reaching. Now we're gonna go on the other end where it's not reaching and there is facts. There's evidence behind these things, right? So in terms of the Tim Allen situation, I would just completely remove Tim Allen altogether. No Tim
Yeah.
Allen. Okay. Because on the other end where we do have evidence is Disney specifically,
Oh yeah.
right? So if we are to blame someone or something, it's Disney. Disney is
For
who
sure.
we blame in this. Do
Yep.
not go attacking Tim Allen, even if he was an associate. It's the organization, bro. They're the ones behind this at the
Yes.
end of the day, no matter
Yep.
what. All
Yeah.
right. So when it comes to that, when it comes to conspiracy theories, right? Because that's what we're talking about. If you have the evidence, let's say for example, you got the all-seeing eye whole ordeal where celebrities take a picture, with just one with an eye covered or closed or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You got the mocking tongue. If you search those pictures of any like A-list celebrity, any celebrity that's well known, you will find a ton of them everywhere. Like
Mm.
it is so much evidence of this stuff that there has to be an answer to it. There has to
Yeah.
be. There's no way you can be like, oh no, that's just how they take their pictures. Everybody
Yeah.
takes their pictures like that the same way. You
I
know what
don't
I
know
mean?
any sane person. I don't know any sane person who takes who wants to take a photo with like this. Or I don't.
Right.
I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Exactly.
So
So
I
when it
totally understand that.
yeah, so when it comes to those things, that is evidence. Okay,
Mm.
it's to the point where it's so much that okay, we need an answer for why y'all are doing this all the time.
Yep.
Because you can't just be like, that's just how people take pictures. Because that is incorrect. That's just not true. Like, so that is the other side of a reach. Now
Yeah.
you have actual evidence, and it's like, all right, I got my evidence. You see this. There's millions of pictures.
Mm.
What's going on?
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
And then you even got to the people like I don't know if this is where we're going next, but like people who say they have evidence, but they take it out of context. Like
Mhm.
say for how I said before, filter everything through the Bible. Tested by the Spirit, like you were
Right.
saying. Like they're talking about the COVID vaccine, right? They were
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, the COVID vaccine is the mark of the beast." And I'm like, and they're spazzing off verses, that were a whole lot of nothing for me. And I'm like, okay, dude, let's not go there. Like, if you don't want to take it, don't get it. I understand. I'm not trying to, political stance. I'm not trying to have one,
Mhm.
but just you're saying this, and you're saying all these verses out of context, and that just doesn't line up. So stop saying that. Like I understand if you don't want to take it, but at the end of the day, don't say that it's the mark of the beast because like at the end of the day, like you have no solid biblical evidence to support that. You have
Right.
a bunch of verses that are out of context, and that's not okay.
For sure. Yeah. You can say that it is um like a prequel to it, a
Yeah, oh yeah,
prerequisite or something like that. But in terms of the real thing, yes, the COVID vaccine did limit us in a time frame of buying and selling, right?
yeah,
Not even so much buying and selling, but be able to go and buy and sell. But
yeah,
with the mark of the beast, you will actually that's going to be your form of access, right?
yeah.
In the
Yep.
word, it says that is how you are going to make purchases. You will not
Yep.
be able to buy and sell without this thing. People don't have the vaccine and can go and buy and sell. Therefore,
Yep.
I mean, it can't get any easier than that. So, yes, like Matt is saying, evidence, right? You can't fit scripture to your bill. It
Nope.
says what it says. So, if that does not fit what the scripture says, it is incorrect
Mm-hmm.
automatically. Until the thing
100%.
that does fit scripture, you don't fit scripture to you, we fit scripture. All
Yep.
right? That's the standard. We are not the standard. The scriptures is the standard. So if it
Yes.
doesn't fit that,
100%.
then that's it. That's it.
No, absolutely. And like, it was funny because we're talking about this, and like, how we said at the beginning of the show, like, we can disagree and come together and still,
Hmm.
have discussion and stuff like that, and still be okay. And I remember one time where I had a friend of mine. She told me that girl that don't buy Girl Scout cookies anymore because Girl Scouts they support abortion.
Mhm.
And I'm like, listen, I don't care. I want my Samoas, bro. I want my cookies. Move out of my way. I'm going to get me some cookies.
Mhm.
So it was and like kind of goes back to the whole Disney thing. Like they didn't give me a solution
Right.
to the problem. Like, okay,
Exactly.
yes, is it a problem? Sure, but at the end of the day, like if you're not going to give me a solution, I'm going in line to get me some Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
Until you tell me otherwise, until you tell me, hey, you can support, I don't know, the Boy Scouts of America, whatever, when they're selling, cookies and support of, whatever the case would be. Okay,
Mhm.
cool, but don't tell me something and then not give me a solution to it. Kind of going back to what we were
Right.
saying before.
It's kind of spiteful. It's like, oh, you do this. Well, guess what? They do this. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, thanks for that information. I didn't know that. One.
Yeah,
Two, I just want cookies.
yeah,
That's it. I just want
yep,
some cookies, bro. Do you have the
exactly,
cookies? Because if you got them, I'll buy them from you. Do you support abortion? No. Okay. So get me the cookies. I'll buy them from you.
exactly.
Right.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But no, and it's just one of those things where it's like, guys, and they didn't have any evidence, and like they were just saying, oh, they just support abortion. I'm like, okay, how do you know that? Oh, they just do. I don't.
What?
I you're not telling me anything. Like you're just
Right.
trying to not have me not buy Girl Scout cookies. I'm sorry. I used to work at a coffee shop, and I know Deontay, you did as well. Like just because I don't go as a customer, one customer doesn't come buy from my store, does not mean my entire operation getting shut down.
Right.
Like when people came to work and told you I'm never coming to Starbucks again, what did you say? Okay, like bye. Like I'm still
Cool.
gonna get paid. Like same thing when I worked at Dunkin'. People came up to me, I'm never coming to this Dunkin' again. I'm like, okay, excuse me, next in line. I got 5 other people behind you waiting to buy some coffee. Like,
Right.
I'm still gonna get paid. The organization's still gonna get their money. Like just because you're not happy with them, go somewhere. Then
Right.
I have discernment. I'm okay. I'm working through it. I'm testing the spirit, testing it by the spirit, and I'm in my word, making sure it lines up with what I believe biblically, and
Mhm.
then I'm okay. That's kind of where we need to be at if we're a believer. And
Right.
I'm just sitting there like, oh my goodness, like why are we like so annoyed? That's what I said. That's what I mean when I say I'm annoyed, and I think conspiracy theorists are full of it in that sense of like you're just saying a bunch of nothing,
Mhm.
and you're not giving me anything to go off of.
Right.
You're just saying don't do it. I'm like, okay, well that doesn't
Exactly.
mean anything.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, man. So overall, that goes into it, and we can end it off with this. But the the topic of personal conviction, right? Going into scripture, where it talks about a man not being defiled by what goes into him, but what comes out. That is talking about character, right? Because you buy cookies from Joe Smo who supports abortion, that's on Joe Smo. I
yeah,
don't support abortion. I just want my cookies,
yeah,
right? That's it.
yep,
So in that sense, by eating those cookies, am I saying I support abortion? No, I'm just eating cookies.
yep,
So it goes into the same concept when people are talking about Christmas, when people are talking about anything, bro. Anything that is something or that is supposed to be like, oh, this is a pagan holiday or whatever you want to call it. At the
yep,
end of the day, it's personal conviction because
yep,
half of the time people don't even know what you are talking about because you've done so
100%.
much research. You've looked into this stuff. People are like, bro, what? Like, what are you even talking about, right? That is not a conviction for them. And to
Yep,
them, yes, even if they are ignorant to it, they are not participating in that thing. You see what I'm saying?
yep, no, 100%.
So when it comes down to personal conviction, you got to realize if it's somebody's conviction to not eat or to not eat shrimp, that don't mean you gotta not eat shrimp.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? It works
yeah,
both ways.
and okay, go ahead.
No. It basically works both ways, and it is not a sin for that person to not eat shrimp. The same way it's not a sin for you to eat shrimp, right?
Yeah.
That's just
Yep.
their conviction, and that happens. It's
Yeah.
not an all the time thing, but it does happen.
Yeah. No, I think I know what you're referencing, and that was something that I was like, okay, like you're just why are you talking about this? Like, why are you
Hmm.
coming on here and saying we shouldn't eat shrimp? I'm like, that is like if you don't want to, fine, okay.
Hmm.
But I'm personally I like shrimp. Okay, I'm gonna eat shrimp, and because I
Same.
like it, I enjoy it. I don't think that is the thing that Um, let's say I don't think that's the one thing in my life that automatically disqualifies me from going to heaven.
Right.
Okay, I like I don't I just can't see God up in heaven like, oh, you I forgave you for for the you know the lustfulness that you've had in your lifetime. I forgive you for all of that, but oh, you ate shrimp? Nah, I'm good.
Mm.
I just don't
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's
And just people are just running their mouth 100%, thinking that they're 100% correct. And I'm like, dude, you're talking about a personal conviction. You're saying,
right.
like, if you don't want to eat shrimp, fine, go right ahead. I'm not stopping you. I'm not going to hate you for it, whatever. But just don't hate me and don't get on my case that I like shrimp, that I'm going to eat it. You
Right.
know? So I thought it was again a stretch, it's so far left that it can't be right.
Right. Exactly.
So
So yeah, man, be careful with the reaches. If you are a conspiracy theorist, however, at the same time, if the truth is there, if the evidence is there, you gotta answer to it. Okay?
yep,
It is one thing to be ignorant to something, but once you see it, like I said once again with the evidence with Disney, with the evidence with the whole NWO or New World Order type of ordeal. One, because there's biblical facts leading to something like that anyway. So
yep,
it's inevitable, no matter what you want to
oh yeah,
call it. But
100%.
when you have the facts behind it, we can't write that off as conspiracy. So conspiracy is no longer conspiracy when the facts are found out. It is now true.
Yeah,
You can't say conspiracy no more because we have the evidence that you said you are such and such. It's no longer conspiracy. Now it's facts, and okay, I need an answer now. What
yeah,
what's what, right?
yeah. And kind of going back to what you were saying about knowing who they are a Christian by their fruit.
Right.
Like we know who they are by their fruit. And it's like, okay, like if we take Tim Allen out of the equation, like you said, and just look at Disney, Disney produced other shows that have been highly questionable, like that Lucifer show that I think got like maybe half a season and then got canned because there was so much backlash about this animated show that made Lucifer and Satan to be like okay.
Right.
And like I was like, all right. I looked at that show. I was like, yeah, that's not okay. That's demonic. Like they're just trying to infiltrate our children and make it an animated show to make it seem, oh, it's okay.
Hmm.
No, that's bad.
Exactly.
So like that's why you take a look at everything as a whole and not just look at that one specific incident. Now,
Right.
if it's that like you said, if it continues,
Hmm.
one after the other, then
Right.
there's your evidence. That's all you need.
Exactly. So yeah,
Yeah,
man. Matt, I appreciate you for hopping onto the show, man. Make sure y'all go give Matt a follow. His stuff will be in the description.
absolutely.
Stay tuned for that podcast. I will be looking out for that podcast. Good luck, brother. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
y'all kill it, man. Definitely, if y'all wanna have me on, shoot, let me know. I'm down to do it. If either of you
Absolutely.
ever want to be on the show again, I love having people on the show. I absolutely love it. Makes the conversation more interesting. Makes it more fun for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, definitely look
Yeah,
forward to doing
man.
this again, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, brother. Much love as always.
Mhm. All right, y'all. This has been Jims. We'll catch y'all next time. Take it easy.
See you guys.
I'm trying to take it higher than I ever been. They like, hello, how you mix the music with the medicine? Light on